March 10th, 2009, Justin's Journal. This week, Press Play reviews Watchmen. What Peter and Francis don't know is, I'm not on the show with them. They're on the show with me.
Guys, stop fucking around. We got a movie to review.
Oh, our bad.
God help us all.
Will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
This week we watched Watchmen. Now Justin, why don't you tell us about it?
So the film starts off with the murder of an ex-superhero, the comedian, and one vigilante, Rorschach's mission to solve this murder.
We all came into this movie with like really different backgrounds. Like I just finished rereading the novel. Justin, he read it a couple months ago, maybe even like half a year. Francis, you've never even read the novel. So I'm really like more interested in what you thought about it.
So Watchmen as a movie was pretty good. Even though I didn't read the book like you guys, I gotta say, I enjoyed it a lot.
You know, I'm really glad to hear you say that because as someone who read the comic, I really enjoyed the movie too. Just seeing Watchmen brought to life was really cool, but I felt that the graphic novel, its plot structure is really complex and hard to follow, and it's told from a bunch of different perspectives. So the fact that you enjoyed it and you understood the story, you know, having not read the graphic novel, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, from the opening scene to the end credits, while it didn't capture the graphic novel verbatim, it did a really good job of bringing the comic to life, and I really appreciated Zack Snyder's attempt at adapting one of the greatest books I've ever read, period.
I like the fact that they stayed true to the graphic novel, because right after watching The Watchmen, I downloaded the motion comic version, and I saw how similar it was, and scenes I saw in that motion comic, I remember it from the movie, and I thought that, whoa, this is pretty cool. I mean, the director really followed the motion comic.
You know, I agree with you that, yeah, it's cool they follow the book almost verbatim, but at some points it feels like they should have cut out a little more, or maybe even break it up into like 2 or 3 movies, because seriously, this movie was long. It was like 3 hours, and I think as a movie itself, I don't find it very enjoyable, but I see its depth and I see how it's open to analysis, and like I could rewatch it over and over and find different parts about it and learn, but like it just wasn't very entertaining.
You know, one of the reasons you felt that the movie was long was probably because we watched it the midnight showing, and having been through a full day of classes and just the stress of being Peter, I guess you would say, it might have been like it felt like it might have dragged, but plus you were sick. But Zack Snyder, props to you for making bringing another good graphic novel to life. 300 was his first one, right? Was it his first one? And well, the visual styling of the movie, you can see the similarities to 300, which is not a bad thing at all. It looks great, but having seen it before, it gets kind of old, and it may feel like
it's not as breathtaking as it was in 300. Like 300 was your first time seeing something like that, but because you experienced 300 already, and then you see The Watchmen, it's like, yeah, I've seen this before. It's still cool, just not as badass as it was the first time. Now, all the acting in this movie was pretty good. I mean, no one really stood out except the actor who played Rorschach, Jackie Earle Haley. I don't care, like if you could have searched for 20 years more, you still would not have found a better Rorschach than Jackie Earle Haley.
Jackie Earle Haley's acting was very strong in this movie, especially that scene in the prison where he just totally let everyone know in there that he wasn't gonna be the bitch.
The whole Watchmen universe is pretty interesting in itself. I mean, Alan Moore really outdid himself in creating this universe where superheroes are pretty much like regular people, where it's like you see the trials they go through, the good and the bad, and you feel for them. And they're not just They're not this Superman type of ideal person who does whatever, who does just the good and nothing but the good. They do some bad stuff. They have sex. They curse. They swear. They're just like us, you know. They're just trying to live their lives as normal as possible, and at the same time, you know, help out a couple of people in need.
So I wouldn't say he created the universe. I think that it's just the real world. He just threw a bunch of superheroes in there and what they would do if in a situation, you know what I mean?
To sum it up, if you've read the graphic novel, odds are you're gonna enjoy seeing it being brought to life. But if you haven't read the graphic novel, I don't think Watchmen is the movie for you. Just because I feel like you sort of need to have read the graphic novel to be able to understand the really complex plot and all the different character arcs going on.
But for those of you who didn't read the novel, watch it. You may get confused, but you'll get into it. The movie itself is really good, and what I did, I watched it the first time, and I went straight into the motion comic, and it was pretty good. I mean, I've got to finish it up, but it's something to enjoy.
Now, if you're a comic book purist, The Watchmen may not be the live adaptation you've been waiting for. However, the movie is good as a whole. And for the average moviegoer out there, if you can sit through movies like Titanic and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and still like it, well then The Watchmen is definitely for you.